the face that defied time. For over 3,000 years, she has watched us. Her gaze, carved in stone, defies the centuries. To some, she's the embodiment of beauty. To others, a phantom queen. Her true face lost to history. But behind that serene smile lies a question no one has answered. Who was Nefertiti? And why did she vanish from the world she once ruled? In a silent hall of the Neues Museum in Berlin, a single spotlight cuts through the darkness. There, poised in eternal stillness, is the bust of Nefertiti. Her skin glows with the warmth of desert light, her features sculpted with impossible perfection. She does not simply look at you, she looks through you, across millennia, past empires, into the core of human fascination. This is more than stone and pigment. It is the most recognizable face of ancient Egypt after the mask of Tutankhamun. And yet, even this icon is shrouded in doubt. Unearthed in 1912 by German archaeologist Ludwig Burckhardt, the bust was hailed as the Mona Lisa of the Nile. Crowds came from across the world to witness its beauty. But whispers began to spread. Was the paint too vibrant? The surface too pristine? Could this be not a relic from 1350 BCE, but a masterful creation of the modern age? No evidence has ever confirmed such claims. None has ever silenced them, and so the bust remains, balanced between history and legend. If genuine, it shows us the real Nefertiti, Queen of Egypt, co-ruler of an empire at the height of its power. If false, it reveals something far more unsettling, that our image of her, our understanding of her very identity, may be built on illusion. This is why her story matters. Not simply because she was beautiful, but because beauty was her weapon, her crown, and perhaps her curse. Into the past, to know Nefertiti, ye must leave Berlin. We must journey back more than 3 millennia, to the banks of the Nile, in the age of gold and sun. The year is 1350 BCE. The air is thick with incense, the temples alive with the hymns of a new god. Pharaoh Akhenaten rules from a city of white stone and golden altars, and beside him, equal in stature, equal in command, stands a queen whose name means, "The beautiful one has come." Her reign will change Egypt forever. Her disappearance will haunt it for eternity. Stay with us, for this is only the beginning of her story. And in the shadows of history, beauty and power often walk hand in hand, until one destroys the other. A horizon of the Aton. The year is 1350 BCE. The Nile coils like a silver serpent through the heart of Egypt. The land is fertile, the temples magnificent, and the gods are restless. For centuries, Egypt's faith has been a pantheon of many faces. Amun, Ra, Osiris, Isis, gods of war, of harvest, of death, of rebirth. But now, a single light rises above them all. One god alone, blazing in the form of a radiant sun disk, Aton. This revolution has a name, Akhenaten, a pharaoh unlike any who came before him. Far from the ancient capital of Thebes, Akhenaten commands the creation of a new city, Akhetaten, the horizon of the Aton. Its walls are built of white limestone, gleaming under the relentless desert sun. Wide avenues cut through the city like golden rivers. At its heart stands the great temple of Aton, roofless, open to the heavens, so that nothing stands between the people and their god. The priests of Amun call it heresy, the people call it strange, but to Akhenaten it is destiny. And beside him, as the city rises from the sands, is a queen whose authority matches the pharaoh's own. Nefertiti does not merely follow, she rules alongside. The source of discontent. But the rise of Aton did not come without cost, a cost paid in power, in gold, and in blood. For centuries, the priesthood of Amun had been more than guardians of faith. They were stewards of Egypt's immense wealth, controlling vast estates, commanding armies of laborers, and collecting offerings from every corner of the Nile Valley. The great temple of Amun at Karnak was not merely a place of worship, it was a state within a state. Akhenaten's revolution shattered that order. Offerings once destined for Amun now flowed to Aton. The colossal temples of Thebes were abandoned, their sacred rites left to the dust. Statues of Amun were defaced, his name chiseled from walls, as if erasing him from memory could erase his power. To the priests, this was more than blasphemy. It was theft of their god, their livelihood, and their place in the hierarchy of the world. And the hand that enforced the pharaoh's will often bore the delicate rings of Queen Nefertiti. The queen's role. In the carvings etched into the temple walls, Nefertiti appears in the same scale as Akhenaten, an honor almost no queen before her had been given. She is shown offering sacrifices to Aton, her hands raised toward golden rays that end in tiny hands of blessing. In one scene, she wears the blue war crown of the pharaohs, a symbol of direct authority. It is clear, Nefertiti is no silent consort. She is a co-sovereign. Enemies in the shadows, but power breeds enemies. The old priesthood of Amun, stripped of their wealth and influence, simmered with quiet rebellion. The military, long the backbone of Egypt's might, now served a king more devoted to divine light than to conquest. And in the midst of this dangerous balance stood Nefertiti, both queen and lightning rod for discontent. Picture it. The sun sinks over Akhenaten, staining the limestone walls with blood-red light. In the shadows of the great temple, whispers rise, whispers of plots, of alliances against the throne. Inside the palace, Nefertiti sits beside Akhenaten, her eyes steady, her posture unyielding. She knows the game. She knows the danger. History will remember Akhenaten as both a wonder and a folly. But for now, it is the heart of a new Egypt, shaped by the will of a pharaoh and the influence of a queen whose beauty conceals a mind of steel. Under the light of Aton, the shadows grow long, and in those shadows, the fate of Nefertiti is already being carved into stone. The bust and the doubt. More than 3,000 years pass. The city of Akhenaten crumbles into dust. The temples of Aton vanish beneath the sands, and the name of Nefertiti is swallowed by silence. Until the winter of 1912, in the remote ruins of Amarna, a team of German archaeologists, led by Ludwig Borchardt, sifts through the debris of a forgotten workshop. The air is dry, the light filtered through clouds of drifting dust. Wooden crates are filled with broken statues, fragments of painted stone, splinters of a vanished age. And then, someone pulls back a cloth. There she is, a face as if carved from the very breath of the desert. Skin painted in warm ochre, lips the color of pomegranate, a crown of blue rising above her brow. The eyes, almond-shaped, half-lidded, seem to gaze at something beyond the room, beyond time itself. Borchardt is silent at first. He knows, in an instant, that this is no ordinary find. This is a masterpiece, a treasure that could rival the mask of Tutankhamun. The bust is carefully packed, shipped to Germany, and unveiled to the world. Newspapers call her the Mona Lisa of the Nile. Crowds gather, hushed in awe, as if in the presence of royalty resurrected. But almost as quickly as the admiration, doubts begin to form. Why are the colors so vivid, as if they were painted yesterday? Why does the limestone show so little wear after 3 millennia? And why are Borchardt's excavation records incomplete? Some whisper that the bust is not ancient at all, but a creation of the early 20th century. A calculated forgery designed to elevate Germany's standing in the competitive world of archaeology. No proof has ever surfaced. No definitive denial has been made. And so, the bust of Nefertiti sits suspended between truth and deception. Like the queen herself, a figure of beauty wrapped in enigma. If the bust is real, then we are staring into the eyes of the true Nefertiti, the queen who stood beside Akhenaten in the blazing courts of Akhenaten. If it is false, then we are staring at a dream, an invention that has shaped our vision of her for over a century. Either way, the power of this image is undeniable. It has fixed Nefertiti in the human imagination, not just as a queen, but as the queen, her beauty a mirror that reflects both history and myth. But the bust is only stone. To know the woman, we must return to the days when she ruled, to the palace corridors where beauty and power walked hand in hand, until one destroyed the other. Power and the vanishing. In the heart of Akhenaten, the sun blazes without mercy. Beneath its light, a queen walks in step with a king, equal in power, equal in command. But in the corridors of power, shadows always follow the light. Life at the height of power. Within the palace walls, life is a symphony of ritual and command. The day begins with offerings to Aton, great tables piled with bread, beer, flowers, and roasted fowl. The golden rays of the sun disk reach down, carved into every relief, touching both pharaoh and queen. Nefertiti presides over court audiences, petitions from governors and military commanders placed before her, as often as before Akhenaten himself. She inspects temples, oversees festivals, and directs the work of artisans. Her word can move gold from the treasury, grain from the granaries, and soldiers from one end of the Nile to the other. But beyond ceremony, her life is a careful balance. Every gesture in public, every word spoken in the court, is both a display of devotion to Aton and a signal to allies and rivals alike. The political landscape outside the palace, Egypt is not at peace. The empire's borders stretch far, to Nubia in the south, to the edges of Syria in the north. But with Akhenaten focused on his religious revolution, foreign vassals grow restless. Letters from the Amarna archives speak of kings and governors pleading for military aid that never comes. Inside Egypt, the priesthood of Amen, though weakened, is not destroyed. Their influence festers underground, feeding discontent among traditionalists who see its rule as an affront to the gods that made Egypt great. Nefertiti moves through this storm with calculated precision. She is both shield and spear for Akhenaten's vision, using her authority to maintain the fragile order. The queen in public festivals are the stage upon which her image is immortalized. In the grand ceremonies of Aton, Nefertiti rides in a gilded chariot beside the pharaoh, her daughters arrayed behind them like living jewels. The people watch from the streets, chanting her name, their eyes catching the flash of gold and lapis lazuli in the sunlight. To them, she is not merely a queen, she is the living embodiment of Aton's blessing. But admiration does not erase fear, and reverence does not cancel envy. Foreshadowing the waning sun. As the years pass, the records grow quieter. Depictions of Akhenaten and Nefertiti together become less frequent. Then, suddenly, her name disappears from official inscriptions altogether. Some believe she died, taken by illness or accident. Others whisper of a more violent end, assassination or forced exile at the hands of those who sought to restore the old gods. A tantalizing theory suggests she took on a new name, Nefertiti, and ruled as pharaoh after Akhenaten's death, hiding in plain sight. The truth is lost in the shifting sands of history. All that remains is the image of a queen who for a brief moment held Egypt's destiny in her hands and then vanished into the darkness. Power is a crown of thorns, worn in triumph and removed in silence. For Nefertiti, the end is not written in stone, but in the absence of her name. The lost tomb and the legacy. The queen is gone, her name erased, her image defaced, her fate unknown. But the earth remembers what the scribes have tried to forget. Beneath the shifting sands of Egypt lie secrets untouched for millennia. And somewhere, if the legends are true, lies the final resting place of Nefertiti. Archaeologists have chased her shadow for over a century. Some believe her tomb is hidden in the Valley of the Kings, sealed behind the walls of Tutankhamun's burial chamber. In 2015, radar scans revealed anomalies, possible hidden rooms igniting global speculation. But the chambers remain unopened, their secrets guarded by stone and time. Others point to Amarna, the city she once ruled from, its sands covering not only temples and palaces, but perhaps the queen herself. Still others whisper of a burial far to the south, in a hidden necropolis known only to the most trusted of her followers. The temptation of discovery. Binding her tomb would be more than an archaeological triumph. It would be a rewriting of history. We could finally know how she died, whether she ruled as pharaoh, and why she vanished from the records. But every lead fades into the desert heat. Every promising excavation ends in silence. It is as if Nefertiti herself does not wish to be found. The legacy, yet, perhaps that is her final victory. For while her body is lost, her presence endures. She is in the limestone face that still stares out from Berlin. She is in the myths whispered by guides along the Nile. She is in every vision of beauty and power that refuses to fade with time. More than a queen, Nefertiti has become a mirror, reflecting what each generation chooses to see. The perfect ruler, the dangerous temptress, the tragic figure, the eternal enigma. And so the sands keep their silence. The tomb remains hidden. The mystery endures. But if history has taught us anything, it is that secrets cannot remain buried forever. Stay with us, because one day, when the stone doors open and the torches flare against painted walls, the Queen may finally speak again. And when she does, you will want to be here to hear her voice.